All right, so we're ready to go. Today I'm coming to you from a hotel room in Cherokee, North Carolina. We're on a little trip here playing some poker. So if we have some weird internet issues, it's not my normal setup. I think we can still go through the normal practice. Reminder that Chris Mull has a triangle game at 7 o'clock. So while you're listening to me yap, grab a partner, sign up for that game at 7 o'clock, help support him. Also, RBC has a game tomorrow night, two separate games actually. There's an open game and there's a 0 to 100 game. That 0 to 100 game has been getting like 7 tables, which is great. We also want to see that grow, and keep in mind again, I know it's a broken record, but we need that game to eventually feed the open game. So do everything you can to encourage the people that are in that 0 to 100 category to come out and play in that Thursday night game. So tonight we're going to do kind of an RBC in 52 style take on the hands that we played Tuesday night. Usually I'll make a video Friday morning about the Thursday night hands, but we'll use this Zoom to talk about the Tuesday night hands in kind of the same style. And the idea is I'm going to go through the hands, give you some thoughts, give you a reasonable-ish auction. Like, it's not the point that you agree with me on every single thing I say. I'm trying to stress to you the idea that we keep the ball in the fairway. Okay, we make reasonable bids, and if you want to do A and I want to do B and it's kind of close, that's not the point. All right, so I've got the hands loaded. We're going to go through an auction, maybe through an opening lead. Looking through the hands, I saw one theme that kind of popped up that we'll talk about on 4 different hands, I think, which was how to make penalty doubles of low-level contracts, like part score contracts. So they're out of the 21 hands we played last night. Of the auctions I suggest, we have 4 examples of ways to deal with that. So I hope you'll find this instructive, and without further ado, we will go to the boards. So North is opening a spade here. That's pretty clear. And let's say that East bids 2 no trump here. Okay, and this is actually a pretty decent hand and a pretty decent spot because you're white. Like, you don't have to worry about, when you're vulnerable, you always have to be a little bit careful about these 2 suited overcalls, because when you're vulnerable and at the 3 level and they decide to make an aggressive, speculative penalty double of you, if you go down 1, it's really bad news, because you're losing to all the part scores. If you go minus 200, it's very often a 0 unless your opponents have a clear making game. Okay, so let's stick East with a 2 no trump bid here. And this is just unusual 2 no trump. It shows 5-5 shape in the 2 lowest unbid suits. So over a major, it's going to show clubs and diamonds. Over a diamond, it's going to show clubs and hearts. Over a club, it would show diamonds and hearts. So 2 no trump here. So the things we ought to be thinking as South, there's not a guaranteed fit, right? All I know about my partner's hand is she has 5 spades in an opening hand. So I don't know that there are either 8 spades or 8 hearts on the deal. I do know that I have 7 cards. Like, my length is 4 diamonds and 3 clubs in the 2 implied suits on my right. And what I would actually like to do with this kind of hand is say, I don't think they can make anything at the 3 level. I've got, some high card points. I've got some length in their suits. I don't have some huge fit with you. And the way you would do that here is by doubling. Okay, double kind of says, I've got a pretty good hand, and what it is probably more suited to defending whatever they want to play at the 3 level, rather than me insisting on, like, say, our side bidding 4 spades. Later on in the auction, if partner wants to insist on spades, we have a very good hand for that, right? We have queen, jack of trump, and we have 2 aces. So the hand will work on offense if partner ultimately wants to overrule us. But I think the first thing we want to do is say double. they can't make anything at the 3 level. I've got a good hand. It's balanced. I have length in their suits. And I would think of this as like very analogous to an auction where partner opens, one of a suit and they double and we redouble. It's the exact same idea. A redouble is technically defined as 10 plus points, balanced hand, defensive oriented. I'm not sure that I would put such a threshold as like 10 points on this kind of double, but it's the same idea. There's a misfit potentially. I have a balanced hand. I've got some high card points. Let's consider defending against their contract doubled rather than bidding onto a thin 3 no trump or thin 4 spades, whatever. You get the idea. West at this point has a responsibility to just bid whichever suit they prefer. So East has shown clubs and diamonds here. West has a clear preference for clubs just because they have 3 clubs and 2 diamonds. So it's imperative on West here to bid 3 clubs. It's not like obviously in an auction like this where it's gone open to no trump double. West is never going to have any values on this auction. So don't think of the 3 club bid as showing anything. It's just I would prefer to get my tail kicked in 3 clubs to 3 diamonds because at least we have 8 of those instead of 7 of them. All right. So after it goes 3 clubs, pass, and East is going to pass because she's already bid her hand. The idea here for South is just double. I have a very reasonable hand against 3 clubs doubled. And that would probably end the auction. Okay, and the double here isn't I've got 4 trump tricks against 3 clubs. It's just looking at my hand and knowing that my partner has an opening hand, they can't really have 9 tricks and clubs here, right? And also looking at 4 diamonds in your own hand, you ought to anticipate that this is the type of auction where you would want to lead a trump. Okay, and when we're looking at ace third of trump, the right idea is to lead a small one. I guess partner's actually on lead. If East were leading, we would certainly lead a small one from ace third because we want to be able to lead a trump at trick 1, and then whoever gets in next, we want to be able to lead another trump and then a 3rd trump, okay? Because we are trying to get 2 for the price of 1 every single time. If we've got the majority of the high card points and they're playing at the 3 level, the way we kind of neutralize that is by leading trumps. So the idea is actually North should lead trumps also. And whatever they want to do here, say they go up king at trick 1, we just duck it. And you'll notice that the defense has to win the second round, no matter what suit declarer wants to play, be it hearts, spades, diamonds, trumps. We win the next one. And the good thing is, if it's North who wins the next trick, he still has a trump to play, right? And then we can just go ace of trump, 3rd round of trump. Good luck finding some tricks because you don't have any high card points. Contrast that with if we played the ace of trump at trick 1 and a 2nd trump, if our partner happens to be the first one to get in, she doesn't have a 3rd round of trump to play. Okay, so that's why you would want to lead low from the ace 3rd side or duck if your partner leads. But no matter which side is leading, this is a lead trump auction. All right, so that's board 1. Let me see if I can pull up the chat here just in case people are doing stuff with that. Okay, this is definitely a smaller screen than I'm used to, so I'm just going to keep on talking about the next board here. Okay, board 2. East has a balanced 12 count, white on red. These are the types of hands I'm imploring you to open. Okay, and with 3-3 in the minors, it's just you open a club. Okay, if we've got 4-4 in the minors and we decide to open, we open a diamond generally. If we're 3-3, we open a club generally. And it goes a spade by South. South has a pretty decent hand with 5 spades. Oh, hit the wrong thing. So let's talk about the West hand. This is something I've been harping on about negative doubles. If you're sitting West in this auction, you ought to have the idea that I definitely want to bid because I have ace, king, 5th of hearts. You cannot bid 2 hearts, though, because it's back to the idea of if you are to bid 2 hearts in this auction, it must satisfy 2 requirements. First of all, you have 5 hearts, and second of all, you have 10 points. You have one of those tests passed here. You have the 5 hearts. You don't have the 10 points. So the idea is double. And again, I want you to think of this double. It's called a negative double. It's in the family of takeout doubles. I want you to think of the double as kind of an invisible 1 heart bid. Okay, you would have bid 1 heart on anything that had 4 hearts and enough to respond. And kind of the same idea here. We're doubling on any hand that has enough to get to the 2 level and wants to talk about hearts, right? And what you're saying to partner is, I have hearts, but I fail at least one of the 2 tests for bidding 2 hearts, which would be 5 and dime, Woolworths. I need 5 hearts, and I need 10 points to bid 2 hearts. Therefore, when I make the negative double, I failed at least one of those tests. All right. Let's go to North. North is advancing South's overcall of 1 spade and basically ought to respond to the 1 spade bid as if it were an opening 1 spade bid. Okay, look, so let's count up our losers here. We have 2.5 trumps, a heart, a club is 4.5, 3 diamonds is 7.5. In my mind, we have a fit with partner, and we have an invitational hand. And the way we show that hand to partner is by Q-bidding their suit, raising their suit. So we're going to bid 2 clubs here. East, knowing that West has hearts, should bid 2 hearts. Okay, same idea is if your partner were somehow illegally allowed to bid 1 heart in this auction, say it when a club, a spade, a heart, which is how I want you to think of this auction, you would raise 2 hearts to show the heart fit, okay? All right, here's another kind of advanced point. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but let's introduce the idea of a level of commitment. When you're north-south here, and at this point we know we have an 8-card fit, and we know that we have enough to overcall red and a partner who has a limit raise, we have what's called a level of commitment of 2 spades. Okay, there's no way that this auction stops short of 2 spades. We're eventually going to have to bid that. Like if it went 2 hearts, pass, pass, our partner couldn't just defend 2 hearts when we've both got reasonable hands and we've got an 8-card spade fit. Okay, so that's the concept of a level of commitment. Anytime you're in the direct seat and you have a level of commitment, if you bid immediately to that, you are saying, I have kind of the bottom of my range. I have the worst hand possible. So South could bid 2 spades with garbage here. Like say South had just overcalled a spade on king, queen, jack, 5th of spades, and like 1 side card and not great distribution. He could bid 2 spades here to say, I'm bidding the level of commitment immediately because I have no further interest in going higher than that unless you've got some, super big distributional or high card point surprise for me. I'm trying to warn you here. So when South actually has a pretty decent hand, like the one here, she can pass. I think it was he earlier, but whatever. You can pass, and pass should actually describe a better hand than if you had immediately bid 2 spades. Okay, so pass here actually shows I don't have the worst one spade bid in the world. All right, West would pass. We already talked about it's not an option to pass two hearts. North can bid two spades, and this is just like, look, I already bid my hand. I know we've got to compete to two spades over two hearts. There's nothing extra here. It could go pass, pass. And again, even though we talked about South has some extras for their one spade overcall here, once their partner doesn't do anything interesting other than just go ahead and bid two spades, there should be no game for the north-south side. So let's talk about, I think that as West here, when you're white on red, you would definitely bid three hearts. We've talked about the concept of competing to two concepts. We've talked about competing to the level of the number of trumps we have. So here, East bid two hearts. That should show a four-card heart suit, and we actually have five when we might have four. So that's one reason we're competing to threes, because we have nine trumps. The other reason we're competing to threes because we know it's losing bridge to let them play at the two level when they want to, when they've stopped. That's not winning bridge to let them play two spades. So for these reasons, West would bid three hearts, and it would probably go pass, pass. And we're going to have our second discussion of a penalty double here in the context of match points. One thing I want you to get you to appreciate as South is that if you play a spade contract, you're probably making it, right? If your partner has an invitational hand with three trumps and you've got the South hand, you fully expect to be making two spades. Like you think you're going 110 or 140 or 170. So it doesn't make any sense to let them play three hearts undoubled here, right? Because we're going to have to beat them at least three tricks to get back the equity that we had for being in two spades, making two, say. So what you kind of have to do is South here, and South actually has a decent defensive hand. You look like you've got a trump trick with the queen jack third, right? And you've got two bullets, and you've got a partner who said, I have a limit raise. So this is actually kind of high on the defensive spectrum. But even just from a tactical close your eyes vantage, you have to make a speculative double with the South hand and try to beat them two and get 300 for a top, okay? Or try and beat them one and get 100. You've just got to realize that this deal, the way the auction is developed, you fully expected to get a plus score. And if you fully expect to get a plus score, it doesn't make sense not to double them. If we can get 300, that's all the match points. And here also, what are we getting on defense? Probably a heart. It turns out that maybe Declarer could play the heart suit for no losers. But we get two spades, two clubs, a diamond, and maybe a heart. So if we double here, we're getting either 100 or 300 versus plus 50 or 100. If we played spades, actually, if you play spades perfectly, you can make 170 the way the cards are laid out. But if I can do nothing else, I've got to stress to you guys that if the score slip is going to be littered with 110s and 140s and 170s, you can't not double three hearts. You've got to take a shot at 300. Okay, if they're somehow making three hearts, you were getting bupkis anyway. Minus 140 is going to be an 8% on the board or something ridiculous like that. Don't be scared of the one miracle time it makes, for minus 530. There was almost no downside. You didn't have a good score anyway. What you've got to be thinking about is eclipsing the 110s and the 140s and the 170s. All right, whatever. You've heard me rant about that before. Let's move on to board three. All right. Let's talk about preempting again. The south hand is an ideal candidate for a preempt. You have a 7-card suit. It's a pretty good 7-card suit. You have a high offense to defense ratio, and you have two other things in your favor. You have the fact that you are vulnerable and the opponents are not vulnerable, and you have the fact that you're in the first chair. Just to review, the first chair is much more attractive for preempting than, say, the second chair, because you're getting 2-to-1 odds on who you're stealing from. Like when you're in the first chair, if it turns out the deal was about stealing from somebody, there's 3 people at the table you might be stealing from. Like looking at our partner's hand, I realize that on this deal, we're stealing from our partner. But pretend you weren't granted clairvoyance. If you're stealing from somebody, it might be your left-hand opponent. It might be your right-hand opponent. That's 2. And one of the 3 times, it's your center-hand opponent. So you're getting 2-to-1 odds, basically. Contrast that with when you're in the second chair, one of your opponents has already passed, right? So you don't have that horse running for you anymore. You can't be stealing from your right-hand opponent after they've already passed. And therefore, you're getting 1-to-1 odds instead of 2-to-1 odds. So all that being said, I actually held the south hand, and what I opened was 4 clubs. So I determined that I'm definitely going to preempt clubs. 4-card heart suit, be damned, right? I realize it didn't work out on this one because partner has a gigantic hand with 4 hearts. But over time, what's going to happen is you're going to want to extract the maximum pressure on your opponents who rate to have the spade suit, right? And 4 clubs is a bigger pressure bid than 3 clubs. If you think it looks like a textbook 3-club bid and you are white versus red in first chair, I would always encourage you to ramp up the level of aggression 1 and bid 4 clubs on a hand like this. And don't worry too much about the side 4-card heart suit. This deal ought to scream. This deal is about getting in their way more than it is worrying about whether we have a 4-heart contract that we should be bidding. Okay, so let's pretend it went 4 clubs. It'll go pass. I would kind of strongly suggest that if you want to train your partner to make aggressive 4-club preempts when they are white on red in first chair, that we pass with the north hand. My second choice is bidding 5 clubs. I don't want to do something like bid 4 spades, which is really the only other choice with this. Think about what you would have to have go right for 5 clubs to be right. Like you would have to have partner either have the ace of diamonds or a diamond void, or somehow have, along with that, only 1 trump loser. And if we want partner to be opening suits like ace queen 10 9 7th, or king queen 10 9 7th, or even king jack 10 9 8th, and they're playing that opposite a void, they probably have 2 trump losers and probably the ace of diamonds. So 4 clubs is probably high enough already. And I would suggest you actually pass with this hand, and that be the end of the auction. Okay, I realize some stuff I said there is not going to fit into the textbook on preempting. You're violating some rules. You have a spade void. You have a 4-card side major. What I hope to impress upon you guys is you've got to think about the reasons you're preempting tactically and not fall into the trap of, I didn't do it because I had a void, or I didn't do it because I had a 4-card, side suit, or I didn't do it because the last time I did it, partner had 17 with a 4-card heart suit and 4 hearts would have made. That's all nonsense. All right. If it were 4 of me, this auction would go 4 clubs, pass, pass, pass. Next one. Okay, this is kind of a cool one. Say it went a diamond on the 12 count. North has 2 reasonable choices here. They've got an 18 count with king, queen, 10, 9, fifth of diamonds. I think it would be reasonable but conservative to bid 1 no here. 15 to 18 balanced. I think my choice would actually be to double and bid 1 no trump on the back end and have that show 19 to 21, like a little bit more than if I'd overcalled a no trump. I think the hand's good enough for that. So let's say it went double. East should bid a heart. I think South should bid a spade with the 3 count and 5 spades. West is out of this auction. And now on the back end, perhaps, we can bid a no trump to show balanced hand, diamond stopper. It was actually too good to overcall 1 no trump because I feel like this hand is more like 19 to 20 with the 5 card suit and the good interiors and the 18 high card points. I feel like it's a better hand than if I'd overcalled 1 no trump. All right, and we could progress from there. There's other stuff I want to get to, so we're going to go on to board 5. Okay, one point to hit on this. Say it goes pass. I would open a diamond with the East chair. This didn't confirm my pass. I would open a diamond with the East hand because if my partner bids a heart in particular, I kind of want to rebid 2 clubs. I want to get both minors on the table and treat this as an unbalanced hand. And the problem with opening a club would be that if it goes a heart, I mean, I could rebid 1 no trump. I'm not crazy about that on 2 dead spades. But I definitely can't get the diamond suit into the picture at that point. So if I can predict that I want to get both minor suits in on the auction, you've got to start with a diamond and come back with 2 clubs on a hand like this. Let's see, how would this go? Oh, let's say it went double. That's normal. South has an aceless 16 count, short and diamond, support for everything else, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about responding to takeout doubles here for a second. My partner made a very thoughtful, or took a very thoughtful sequence here, I thought. I know that we're all taught to bid up the line, but if your partner makes a takeout double of 1 diamond and you have this hand, I think the idea is that you can anticipate wanting to get both majors on the table. So what he actually did was bid the spade suit first. Another advantage of that is the spade suit's better, right? It's ace jack 10 fourth instead of 4 to the 9. And what happened from here was it went, let's see, how did it actually go? I think it went 2 clubs. And I doubled that also to show a pretty high defense to offense ratio. And remember, clubs is one of the suits that I implied when I made a takeout double of 1 diamond. And they went back to 2 diamonds. But however the auction progresses, now on the backside, partner can bid 2 hearts and get a preference from me. Whereas if you bid the hearts first and the auction continues the same way, now to get the spade suit on the table, you're going to have to bid 2 spades. And if partner actually has a preference for for hearts, they've got to take you back to the 3 level again. Okay, so I thought this was actually some very good anticipatory bidding by my partner here in response to the takeout double. This is the way to get both majors on the table, is by responding to spade first, and then, if necessary and convenient, coming back with hearts on the second round, and then you can get a preference from partner without having to take the deal to the 3rd level. Let us go to board 6. Board 6 has a theme that was visited like 2 weeks ago. Goes pass. Again, I would strongly recommend that you open the south hand. It's 11 balanced. You're white on red. Hearts is where you live. Like, that's the suit you want partner leading. You have a 5-card suit. Did I mention you're white on red? You want to open this hand 1 heart in my book. And it goes pass. Partner will bid 1 spade. South could potentially raise on 3 spades, but I don't think this is the right hand to do it because you're balanced and you have Jack third and Queen X in the unbid suits. So I think the idea here is to rebid 1 no trump, showing 11 to 14 balanced. And the discussion we got into maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago was, does the concept of new minor apply after specifically the auction a heart, a spade, a no trump? And at the time that we had that talk, I said I didn't think it did. And then I did some further research, and it looks like most pairs play that 2 diamonds by responder is actually new minor, and 2 clubs would be natural and not forcing. But I think the new minor bid here by North is 2 diamonds, and you could alert that as, artificial forcing. It turns out that you actually do have diamonds, but that's kind of a coincidence, right? And it could go, from here, pass. South would certainly own up to having 3 spades here by bidding 2 spades, and we could just have 4 spades from there. Excuse me, pass, 4 spades. I think we have that auction on this one. Let's move on to 7. 7 is the 3rd of 4 deals where we want to talk about having a penalty double of their part score. So it should go pass. West should open a heart. It's borderline again, but you do have an 11 count, and you have 6 hearts, and you have good heart interiors with the 10-9. I hope that I could get you past the first, decision point of, should I pass or should I do something that talks about hearts? And if your instinct is I should do something non-pass that talks about hearts, I think that's the right idea. And now it's a question of whether it's 1 heart or 2 hearts. And what we have here is a very high ratio of defense to offense. In other words, we have the ace of our suit, and we have Jack, Queen, King, Jack, balanced. We have all that stuff on the outside. These are all defensive attributes. So if I'm on the line between opening 1 and 2 of 1 suit, having rejected pass because I think bidding some number of hearts is better, all these defensive attributes tend to lead me towards opening 1 instead of 2. So I think 1 heart's the right idea. North has 15 balanced with a stopper in their suit, and the book bid for this is 1 no trump. I've talked before that, I don't know another way around this, but this 1 no trump overcall is not one of my favorite bids in bridge, because it feels to me like, they've already described an opening hand on my right, and East is a live hand here, meaning we have no idea what East has. She hasn't like already passed as dealer. The balance of the points could still be sitting in East here. So I feel like when I make a 1-no trump overcall with North's hand here, I'm putting myself at risk a little bit. And look at the actual East hand. The actual East hand has 11 points, has no fit for partner, right? We have a singleton in the suit that partner opened. And again, if we think about how this hand is going to play, partner has an opening hand. They're 16, let's call it, on my right. I have 11. There's nothing in the dummy. There's nothing in the dummy. There's no way that declarer is making 1-no trump on this deal. I have spades. I have diamonds. My partner has hearts. There's only so many club tricks they could run. They've actually got 5 of them here once they get in. The idea here should be to double. It's a penalty double of 1-no trump. It's saying, I don't think they can make 1-no trump. I've got 11 and you opened. There's no reason to think that they can make 1-no trump here. It's not negative. It's not takeout. It is what's called the hammer. You're going down, dude. They can't make 1-no trump. And if we look at our tricks against 1-no trump, like we've got 5 diamonds and the ace of hearts and the ace of spades for sure. That's plus 200 right there if we double. And I don't think we have any game, right? We can't make 4 hearts. Maybe we can just barely make 4 spades, but that's kind of because East has great spade spots. But it's not normal to bid 4 spades with only a 7-card fit. If we get 200 on this deal, we're going to be doing pretty well. One thing I had thought we might talk about, except I'm running a little slow here because there's always so many good things that I want to talk about. You would probably, in an experienced partnership, want to have a way of running from 1-no trump doubled. And one idea here is that you might play like don't style runouts. So you might play that South can redouble to show a 1 suited hand, and then North would relay with 2 clubs, and South could pass to show I have a 1 suited hand with clubs. We got a lot of good stuff to get to, so I'm just going to move on to the next deal. North should just bid 3 diamonds here. Quick reminder or tidbit. Preempts work better the less the opponents know about their hands. So obviously, if we get to open with a preempt, that's the best situation because our opponents know nothing about each other's hands. They haven't had a chance to bid. And if we get to do it before anyone's passed, that's good, right? Because they haven't had any chance to define. If our opponents open a minor, preempting is a little more attractive than if they open, say, a heart or a spade. Because if you think about the 1 club opening, that's more nebulous than a 1 heart or a 1 spade opening. In particular, a 1 heart or a 1 spade opening promises 5 cards in the suit. Whereas a 1 club opening, like East doesn't know here whether she's dealing with 11 to 14 balance with a 3-card club suit or maybe 6 clubs. Just the idea is the 1 club bid is much more ambiguous, amorphous than a 1 heart or a 1 spade or a 1-no trump opening where partner has a much better idea of what the combined assets of the partnership are. So I think I'd go 3 diamonds. East obviously passes. South should bid 3 no trump and just pray there's an entry to the North hand. There's not, because today isn't our lucky day, but it doesn't change the fact that I think this is how the auction should go. Board 9. All right, this is going to go pass, pass. 1 spade. pass. And I'm going to take you down. I'm going to take you down 2 routes with the 1 spade opening. Table for a second that South might open a no trump. Okay, so we'll get to that in just a second. One convention that you might want to be playing here is something called Drury, where North as a passed hand uses 2 clubs as a 3-card invite for spades and 2 diamonds as a 4-card invite for spades. So if we were playing Drury, we could bid 2 diamonds here to say 4-card spades, invitational. If we do a count of the losers for North, it's 2 diamonds, a club, 2 hearts, 3 spades. That's 8. That's invitational. And South could just bid 4 spades, right? Certainly with a 17 count, just bid 4 spades. If you weren't playing Drury, you would bid 3 spades with the North hand to show a limit raise with 4 trump. And it could go, again, 4 spades. So we get to 4 spades that way. Those are 2 auctions. Let's rewind it to South's choice of opening bid and talk about that for just a minute. Okay, let's talk about what South has. It is a 17 count with 5 spades. I am the first person to employ a open 1 no trump even when you've got a 5-card major style. Like I'm big on that wagon that I'm opening a no trump even with 5-card majors. Let me suggest to you something about the advantages of opening a spade on this hand. Since we have 17, and since we obviously have a 5-card suit, we might get to eat our, we might get to, and I'm losing the saying now, have our cake and eat it too by opening a spade and then rebidding 2 no trump on the back end. And what we'll get to describe is we're fudging by a point, kind of. I mean, we have a 5-card suit that compensates somewhat. But if you want to argue, look, Lance, it's 17 high card points, I can't fight that. But if we open a spade and rebid 2 no trump, we get to describe both the 5th spade and 18 to 19 balanced. Again, I realize we've only got 17, but that's my plan. Open a spade, treat it like 18 balanced. Everything will probably be fine. What if you opened a no trump? I think you're a little bit heavy, but let's talk about what if you open a no trump. As North, you have enough to insist on a game. Opposite 15 to 17 balanced. You want to keep both spades and hearts in the picture, so what you ought to start with is 2 clubs, Stamen, asking partner if she has a 4-card major. And if partner bids 2 hearts, you raise to 4 hearts. And if partner bids 2 spades, you raise to 4 spades. And if partner bids 2 diamonds, you want to have a way to describe 5-4 shape with which one is 5 and which one is 4. Let's go down 2 quick roads on that. Warning, we are entering into hypothetical territory here. I realize that South actually has a 2-spade response to Stamen, but let's pretend that we're just tackling this problem from North's perspective after a 2-diamond bid. If you were playing Smolin, okay, if you were playing that convention, the idea would be that we bid 3 of our 4-card suit, and we would type into the alert box 5 hearts, 4 spades, game forcing values. That's if you're playing Smolin. If you're not playing Smolin, and by the way, like I'm not trying to endorse either way, There's probably theoretical advantages to playing small one, but there's nothing wrong with good old-fashioned bidding, which would be, oh, bid 3 hearts. If you're not playing small one, you can bid 3 hearts. Partner should scratch her head and go like, why is she bidding 3 hearts? She used Stamen instead of making these. Ah, partner must have 4 spades and 5 hearts and a good hand. Okay, so those are the 2 ways you would go about this. Regardless of whether you open a spade or a no trump, or you're using Drury or not Drury, or smollen or not smollen, all roads pretty much ought to lead to 4 spades on board 9. 10. 10 is totally not interesting. It's a 1 no trump opening. It's going to go all float. We're moving on. 11's not that interesting. I'm moving on to 12. 12's pretty interesting. This goes pass. 1 heart by North with the 17 count. It is 4 losers. Very, very nice hand. And East picks up an interesting hand type, right? It is 7 running diamonds. You definitely want to be bidding. You could bid 2 diamonds. That's one idea. Kind of an idea I like better is what would a bid of 3 hearts here mean? And the way I like to play, if they open a major on my right and I jump Q bid 3 of their major, what I'm saying is I have a running minor suit. I would like to play 3 no trump, except I don't have a heart stopper. Can you help me out with that? Can you bid 3 no trump if you have a heart stopper? And if you think about this, like if partner produces a heart stopper, we're up to 8 out of the 9 tricks that we need for 3 no trump. So maybe if you're more on the glass is half empty spectrum of personalities, you might think, well, okay, that's 8. We need 9 for 3 no trump. Ask yourself this question. If all that's in partner's hand is a heart stopper, like if all partner's hand is king third of hearts, and you're worried about being down 1 and 3 no trump for minus 50, what do your opponents have? If your partner's hand is king third of hearts and lunch just means nothing else, aren't they probably cold for 4 spades or a club partial or 5 clubs or something? Like, don't they probably have a plus score if that's all that your partner has? So you could even think of, like, say that I bid 3 hearts and partner bids 3 no and we go down 1. It's probably a good sacrifice, right? Like they could probably make 3 of something or even a game their way. I wouldn't hate to be minus 50 when all that partner's got is king third of hearts and my 7 diamond tricks. So anyway, 3 of their major, jump cube their major. I like to play it as I have a long running minor. Please bid 3 no trump if you can stop their suit. You could think of it as a hand that looks very similar to, if any of you are playing a gambling 3 no trump opening, it looks very similar to that. It's a 7 card running suit with nothing on the outside, right? And if it went 3 hearts, I think South kind of under pressure here would bid 4 hearts. You know, and maybe North South gets to 6 hearts. Maybe they settle in 4 hearts. I don't know exactly, but I want you to pay attention for a second. Let's pretend North South is going to declare hearts. We have on our hands again a Monty Hall situation. So let's say it goes past. This auction is too conservative, but I just want to defend a heart contract for a second. Let's say that, we defend hearts, they kick off with the ace of diamonds, we rough it. And the next thing that happens is king of hearts dropping the queen. What we have here is textbook restricted choice Monty Hall problem. Okay, we're still missing 2 trumps, the jack and 1, and we have 2 alternative lines of play for the way we could continue the trump suit. We could play a heart to the ace, and that would win if East were dealt. So, when we play a heart, it's going to go small. And the options now are to finesse the jack by playing the 10, or we could play the ace. The ace caters to East having specifically queen jack, and the 10 would cater to East having specifically the singleton queen. If you'll go back and watch the Monty Hall videos, the odds very, very, very highly favor finessing the 10 here, because if East has a choice between queen and jack, he can randomly play one or the other, which means that when you see one of them, the likelihood that he had both of them and selected that particular choice is reduced. On this auction, we actually have an even bigger reason to finesse on the second round, which is East bid 3 hearts and led the ace of diamonds. We know there are a ton of diamonds in our left-hand opponent's hand. So even more so than in a vacuum, we should finesse the 10 of hearts here. That'll work. And we'll actually take all the tricks as north-south. All right, let's move on to 13 was not interesting. It's another 1 no float auction. Let's go to 14. 14, I think East should be opening 2 spades. Okay, you're white on white. That's the second best vulnerability situation for opening a preempt. You are first chair. That's the second best chair to open a preempt. The only better chair is third chair, right? Once your partner is said, I don't have an opening hand. That's a little bit more attractive. And you have a pretty good suit, like queen, jack, 9, 8, 6. That's fine.
Preempted was 6 points.
All right, I just heard somebody say preempt was 6 points, preempt with whatever that number is right there. Like, I don't even care. It's just offense to defense ratio, and it's just I don't have enough to open the bidding 1. Okay, here we've got high offense to defense because we can predict the hand works much better declaring spades than it does defending, say, a heart contract. All right, let's go to south here for a second. I know that I've told you guys you don't preempt over preempts. However, south has such a good hand for hearts. And I confirmed this by check. I bid 3 hearts with this hand, and I wanted an excuse, other than logic. So I went to see what Alex did with the south hand, and he bailed me out by bidding 3 hearts also. You just have too much offense not to bid 3 hearts here. Like if I only had 6 hearts, I'm not doing it. If you give the hand any downgrade, I don't think it's worth 3 hearts. But here you have so many tricks for a heart contract. And by the way, if it goes pass, you are committed to opening this hand some number of hearts. And I think 3 is fine here. You have a 7-card suit. You're in the second chair, so again, the preempting odds aren't great because one of your opponents has already said, I don't have an opening hand. Therefore, the odds that you're stealing from the right person are reduced. But you have a good 7-card suit. Don't get cute with this hand and pass, and then later on bid a bunch of hearts. Just get the hand off your chest by bidding 3 hearts. Okay. Let's go down this path for just a second because I saw this auction at a lot of tables. As North, it should be your instinct that hearts is going to be a better contract than no trump here. I saw a lot of 3 no trump on this auction. You have an ideal hand for hearts. Like, my only question as North is, do we have enough for 6 hearts versus 4? When you're thinking about how to respond to preempts, it's not how many points I have, none of that stuff. Again, look at all the outside, what's called cover cards you are providing. In other words, quick tricks. Ace, king of spades, ace, king of clubs, ace of diamonds. You know, that covers 5 of the 6 cards that partner has outside the heart suit, right? If we bid 3 no trump on a hand like this, and they lead a diamond, and our partner is void in diamonds, or has, you know, small doubleton, and they have a heart suit like this, the problem is the opponents are going to get their diamonds started before we've got our heart set up. We want there to be a trump suit on this. So when you're North here, your only question should be, should I bid 4 hearts, or should I do something fancier than that? Bid Blackwood, bid 5 hearts, something fancier, such that we keep 6 hearts in the picture. I don't think no trump should ever be a consideration here. And I only bring that up because a lot of tables bid 3 no trump on a similar auction to this. We should definitely be in hearts. And I think if you look at the double dummy, like hearts makes 12 tricks and no trump makes 10, I think. But it's entirely predictable looking at the North hand that you're going to make more tricks in hearts than you will in no trump. So anyway, bid 4 hearts here. Let's go to 18 because I had, oh yeah, two more things I want to hit here. 18's a defensive theme. Very often the auction was a club, pass, a heart, pass, 2 clubs, pass, 3 no trump. So double dummy here is making 5 no trump. And that involves a little bit of a fancy play, but let's talk about the basic play. If you are defending in North's seat here, and again, I only bring this up because it happened at 3 different tables. At 3 different tables, West was declaring, the East hand was literally on the table as the dummy, and when West started running club winners, North pitched a diamond. Guys, that has to be the absolute last card that you pitch. Like, I'm pitching king, queen, jack of hearts way before I'm ever pitching from the jack of diamonds. You've got to put maintaining parity with the dummy at the very top of your defensive priorities. And look what happens if you pitch a diamond on this hand. All of a sudden, declarer has 4 diamond tricks for sure. Let's talk about one way that we can be super confident that it's right to pitch hearts. Let's say we lead the king of hearts, and it's certainly what I would lead against this auction. And, you know, West pitches a spade. On this auction, everybody in the world knows that South has heart length, right? North has 4. West bid hearts, but then didn't show any further interest in hearts. The dummy's got a void. The clearest thing that South can do here, if her partner leads the king, is to play the 10. And that says my hearts are solid from here on down. Don't get lazy and play the 6. You want your partner to get in a situation where if she's forced into uncomfortable discards, and I think even in a vacuum, North should pitch the heart suit, but certainly if we see the 10 at trick 1, that should say, I've got the hearts from here on out, and it's okay, A, to keep on leading them, and B, later in the defense, you can pitch this suit. I've got it covered. I've got 10, 9, 8, 7. Maybe you have a fifth one, maybe you don't. But always play the cards that give the clearest picture of what's going on to partner. One last thing. It was board 21, I believe. Let's go to 21 and then wrap this up. This is pass. And I'm not opening 2 hearts with the north hand, not because it's 2 points and the ACBL tells me I have to have 5. None of that stuff. I'm red on white. I have a bad suit, and I have an alternate place to play the like if partner wanted to bid spades, I'm providing some tricks and spades. So those are the reasons I'm not opening 2 hearts on this hand. It will go 1 no trump by East. And now we face kind of a common question. South has a ginormous hand, 19 balanced. And the question is, will I play hello, or I play Meckwell, or I play don't? What do I do with this hand? And the answer is, we put the green card on the table. The reason we bid over their 1 no trump openings, they're strong 1 no trump openings. I'm not talking about weak no trumps. Weak no trumps, whole different ball of wax that we have actually talked a good bit about. When they open a strong no trump and you have 4-4-3-2 shape, or 5-3-3-2, or 4-3-3, like literally, I heard Jeff Meckstroth, and if you're playing Meckwell, he is part of the Meckwell. He is the Mech part of Meckwell. And he literally said, you cannot deal me enough high card points. If I have a balanced hand, you can't deal me enough high card points to get involved in this auction. You just pass. Pass doesn't say I've got a bad hand. It just says I don't have the requisite shape to want to come in an auction like this. Okay. And I lied to you. I got one more, and then I swear I'll let you go to Chris's game because I know you guys all set up partners for that. What if we do deal source? I've talked about treating 6-3-2-2 hands with a minor suit, with a 6-card minor suit, as no trump openings. There was a good example of that from last night. So let's hit this quickly. Oh God, it's going to go into that. Can I? Oh, here we go. Get out of this and go to history, recent tournaments, Raleigh Bridge Club. Here we go. Let us pop that to the table. Go back to play. Awesome, here it is. Pass to south. Guys, treat this like 20 to 21 balanced. You have 19 high cards. They're 19 good high cards in that they're concentrated. Like the king is with the queen of spades, and the ace, king, queen, 6th of clubs. And we all know, like, we're supposed to give ourselves points for long suits. You will make your life so much easier if you treat this like 21 balanced and open 2 no trump, rather than opening a club and hearing your partner bid a heart and figuring out what to do on the back end. And the general advice is treat 6-3-2-2 with a minor, when the 6-card suit is a minor, treat that as no trump shape. All right, we've bumped up against 6:35 here. Again, I hope you've got a partner for Chris's game. Tomorrow night, there's 2 games at the RBC in the virtual clubs, 0 to 100, open. Please join us for those. Keep on keeping the momentum for the attendance going. I hope you got something good out of tonight's talk. and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good evening.